Yo guys, what's up? It's Mog's Ascension, and at last we are finally back here again with another video. Now without further ado, let's roll the intro and get right into it. At last. Guys, let me just start off this video by saying it has been absolutely too long and I have missed being able to record and have these discussions with you guys, so welcome back. I have quite a juicy topic today, if I may say so myself. Many of you Kingdom Hearts fans already know the initial idea for Kingdom Hearts came out of a conversation within the Square Enix offices, from Square wanting to make a game that would be able to rival Nintendo's 3D platformer, Super Mario 64. However, they knew Mario was already such a well-established character in the industry. The only way to make a commendable rival to a Mario game like this is with characters as or more popular than Mario. Characters like Mickey Mouse. Then, a chance brought together by fate within an elevator in the building that Disney and Square shared at the time in Tokyo, gave us Kingdom Hearts, the game conceived from some serious hardcore lovemaking between Square and Disney, bringing the Final Fantasy and Disney characters we all know and love into one universe. A game that, when trying to explain to someone even now 15 years after it came out, sounds pretty fucking ridiculous to anyone not already invested in the games. But somehow, Square was blessed by the gods and created an unexpected, phenomenal franchise among the gaming industry. Final Fantasy and Disney universes combining works like nothing I've ever seen before. And that is saying something, especially looking back on all the collaborating franchises over the years just in video games alone. None of those have ever gone as far to create a unique story that ties the universes in together or left the same mark, at least not in my opinion. People love Kingdom Hearts. It's a hit and it has proven itself to be a staple within the industry. But what if Square's initial motivation for creating their new game had not been to rival Nintendo? No, but instead they were purely inspired. What if the fallout between Square and Nintendo had never happened? Is it possible that in a timeline where that is true, we could have seen Square embrace Nintendo and Mario 64's success by working with them to create their ambitious title, bringing Final Fantasy and Nintendo universes together instead? Well, to answer that question, or more so speculate, I think it's important that we look at the facts that we do have that could better tell us whether Square and Nintendo would have come together on this project or not. So without further ado, here we go! When looking towards supporting facts, there isn't a whole lot, as this is mainly just conjecture and fun discussion. The first thing I want to go over is the relationship that Nintendo and Square shared pre-Final Fantasy VII. This is honestly one of the most crucial things to look at, because truthfully, it's the strongest leg that this theory has to stand on. Square and Nintendo had a fruitful relationship, one that would last almost a decade. They had become loyal supporters, making all of their titles exclusively for Nintendo platforms for years. I know a lot of you may be wondering what the relationship before the fallout of Final Fantasy VII has to do with anything, and my response would be a lot, actually, especially when looking at a company like Nintendo, who's going to be the most like Disney in terms of how closely they protect their intellectual property and how rarely they actually license out their IPs to other devs, which leads me to my next point. Licensing. This would more than likely be Square's biggest obstacle with a game like this, especially without a strong relationship with Nintendo in play, which thankfully they had, prior to their fallout, of course. But Square had already been licensed the rights before to develop a new title using Nintendo's most popular IP, Mario, in an attempt to bring relevancy to Square overseas and allowing Mario to once again flourish in a new type of gameplay. Back then, Square's sales were successful within Japan and were well reviewed by the critics, but their lack of skin overseas caused them not to sell well in those markets. Square needed to get a footing, and Nintendo dominated the overseas market, and so when they needed help, who better to look to than Nintendo? Nintendo approved when they were approached by Square, as Miyamoto already wanted to put Mario in an RPG setting, and began development on the very first Mario RPG back in 1995 on the SNES. This title was a hit, and it was only possible due to the strong relationship that Nintendo shared with Square back then, which allowed them to trust Square with their most dear property. With the Super Mario RPG existing, it is very hard to say that had Square and Nintendo not had the falling out, that Nintendo would be opposed to licensing their characters over to Square to develop a title like this. Though with all of that being said, the thought or possibility alone that Nintendo may have licensed their characters over, and the fact that they did have a strong relationship, is sadly not enough to say for sure that if Square had never shifted over to Sony, we could have expected to see this collaboration. In fact, you could even say there's facts that could be put against it. It could be said that even if Square did work to collaborate and develop a new RPG with Nintendo in all of Mario 64, that we could have possibly just seen the true sequel to Super Mario RPG, this time with the lush 3D environment and the openness of Mario 64. Also, it should be noted that a lot of Kingdom Hearts is based off of chance and fate, an idea sprouting from the goal to create a game to rival Mario 64, knowing they needed the characters as popular as Mario, then being approached by Disney executives within an elevator ride. It's one of the reasons why I love Kingdom Hearts' story, but that also makes this theory unpredictable, because even if Square had approached Nintendo, even if it wasn't Super Mario RPG 2, even if it was some ambitious idea like Kingdom Hearts, it would be immensely different. So my friends, that is where I pass this question off to you guys. And if you guys want to join in on the discussion, you get to drop your thoughts, your answers down in the comment section below. What do you guys think of the idea of maybe a Nintendo Kingdom Hearts? And is that something that you think could have existed had Square and Nintendo not had their falling out? And if you do, what does that look like to you? But as always guys, thanks so much for watching. I thought this would be a really interesting topic to make a comeback with. So if you enjoyed this video, be sure to drop a like on it so even more people can enjoy it. If you love content like this, make sure to subscribe to stay up to date on all of my latest videos. And I will see you guys next time.